Greetings viewers, Sun God 2009. First I would like to say, if it's your birthday, happy birthday. Today I want to talk about something, and you can say this video is kind of like a rant or whatever, but I just want to talk. This is where I want to talk, and I want to stress something out. Now there are people who like to own a computer for an affordable price, but there are also people who want to avoid, who want to go for something better. Today's technology, we have tablets, we have desktops, we have all that goody stuff. Even we have our own smartphone. Great. But we should all understand, I know some of us do, but there are those who don't, because they say their device is perfect. And there's no such thing as perfect device. Or it's supposed to last forever or whatever. It don't last forever. Anyway, the subject of this video I'm going to talk about is a MacBook. And this is not going to be a review. This is something totally different, and I'm going to talk about it right now. This here is an older MacBook. Now, you can get these now. Back then, you couldn't get them because they were $1,000. So if you have $1,000 on you, you're lucky to get one of these. That's how much the value was back then. Equivalent? Would it be equivalent to buying a house? Possibly, but more equivalent to buying your own car. So $1,000 is a bit too pricey if you think about it. But it gets the job done, because this was one of their best one. But their top of the line was the MacBook Pro. I won this off an eBay auction for the total of $51, which is not bad, because this price actually I looked it up on eBay. They're around $300, $400. So their prices came down quite a bit, because this laptop is starting to depreciate after many number of years, but it still works to this day. You can still buy this. If you can't afford those new MacBook Pros, perfect time to get one of these. I mean, hey, but if you're doing video editing and high-end quality stuff, then yeah, you're gonna have to pay more out of your pocket to buy your MacBook. Great. But that's not what this video is just about. It's about ownership and taking care of MacBooks. As you can see, I have another one, but it's a 2009 model. What is the difference between the 2009 and this model? Well, it's quite simple. Under the 2009 model, you would have a battery pack right around here. That's where it is. You take that battery off, you go ahead and unscrew those screws, you would gain access to the RAM and the hard drive. Great. This one is a little different. And yes, it's seen better days, and the seller sold it for parts. But anyway, you would unscrew all 4 of these screws on the top and bottom. Take the panel off, you have access to the RAM and the hard drive. That's pretty easy. That's an easy maintenance thing to do with this computer. Great. What you do not want to do is when you have a drink or something, you do not want to spill it on this. I'm going to warn you, viewers, or anybody who wants to own a MacBook, or if you own one like this, do not spill your drink on this. Do not. I looked at the price for this panel, except for this. This comes off. But for this panel, and my eyes popped right out when I saw it. Now, I was able to find one for at least $50 off of eBay. I mean, it's not in great shape, but it's fine. But I'd rather have something that works than its looks. But still, it's not just the parts that is expensive. It's the labor that's expensive. Not only you have to take this whole panel, well, not only you're taking this panel off, you have to go in there, take the hard drive out. Well, you don't have to take the hard drive out, but you take the hard drive out, take the RAMs out, take the battery, which we already know because you don't need power, but you have to take the motherboard off, take the screen off, take the trackpad off, just to gain access to this top keyboard. Now, as for the 2009 MacBook, you really don't have to go through all that. All you need to do is just unscrew the whole screw at the bottom support and also on the side. Just take the top panel off and buy another one and just put it right on and screw it in. And that's it. You don't need to mess with anything else. So that is something you got to think about if you're using one of these. Do not damage these. Now, when I went on eBay, and before I got this, as I said, the seller sold it for parts. It wasn't working. And according to the description, the seller stated that this thing was missing, which is true. It was missing screws for the bottom panel, but I had a spare, and it's what's holding it, and it's really doing a good job. Then the battery warranty is not covered, which is fine. I can always find batteries on eBay. The hard drive was not in it, which I understand. I respect that because privacy is important. I'm glad he took it out. I could care less about the hard drive. I could buy a hard drive online because they're cheaper now. The traditional hard drives are cheaper to get to put on here. Unless you're willing to spend more money on SSD. I'm not willing to do that. So I'm happy with the hard drive I put in here. And of course, now they said the optical drive was missing, the RAM was missing. I looked in there. The RAM is still there, the optical drive is there. So I figured maybe the seller, he's trying to figure out how to set up the eBay better, and it's not working well for him. I understand that too. And the second claim was when he pushed the power button on this thing, the light comes on, it turns on, but the screen goes black. It doesn't work. I hold the power button. It runs fine. I don't see anything wrong with it. It's running absolutely good. So my thinking is maybe that there was an old RAM in there that probably just shorted out. And they do die after time. But once you replace that RAM, it'll work again. And I'm assuming the RAM was replaced. It runs good. But when he said that this thing when he turns it on, this thing goes black, in my head I immediately thought, start no boot. Now I have two terminology, and I'm pretty sure you know where they're coming from. But one is no start no boot, and two, start no boot. No start no boot means the thing does not power on and it will not boot. Therefore, the laptop is possibly completely dead. And it could also be meaning that the battery is dead. It could also mean that if there's no charge light coming on, that could also mean the board could possibly be dead. And then you have start no boot. It means the computer does turn on, but nothing shows up, nothing will appear on the screen. It's blank. Or the screen does turn on, but it will not boot into the operating system, and that's sometimes usually associated with a hard drive issue or some system files within the hard drive is possibly corrupted. You may have to later proceed to safe mode and try to get everything out, and if you can't get it out of the safe mode, you might as well start from scratch. So I thought, when I initially bought it, it's a possible start no boot. With this computer, it was never the case, because I started it up, it works fine. The only thing that went wrong was the keyboard was messed up, and I found out when I opened this thing, it was a dirty connection that which was between the battery and the trackpad connector. So all I did was all I did was grab one of these end dusters and just cleaned the connection out and cleaned out what's on the board. And I was able to reseat the connection. It was a pain in the butt, but I reseated the connection right back in, started it up. The keyboard works like brand new. All by cleaning up, all just because I cleaned up the connection and everything on that board. But these things are not cheap to fix. That's what I want you all to understand. These things are not cheap to fix. And I bet you if you had your own MacBook Pro or your MacBook Air, they're not cheap to fix. These are actually designed for you to use it, and when it dies, throw it away, buy a new one. And if you are able to afford an Apple warranty, if you have Apple warranty and you can afford to get this fixed, you're paying more out of your pocket. And the best way I could describe working on one of these, if you want to understand, if you really want to fix these, I'm telling you one thing. I could compare this computer to a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW. Now, Mercedes-Benz and BMWs, they're expensive. I already know. They're way expensive than what you can get from these. Actually, the MacBook Pros, the different types of MacBook Pros or the different types of Macs you buy, they could be even more expensive, equivalent to the Mercedes-Benz style. It depends on which one you buy and depends on the quality. But these should not, I'm glad they came down on the price on this, but these should not be too expensive because number one, plastic. That's all they are. Plastic. And you know what happens over time. Plastic gets brittle over time, it cracks, it breaks, and then the computer does not look good. It depreciates the value of the computer, which is why this price of this type of computer depreciated down a lot. Because plastic. MacBook Pros, on the other hand, they're aluminum. Even the Macs, they're aluminum. Special aluminum. So I can understand why they're so expensive too. That's one of their costly material. But still, even though as old as this thing is, they'll get the job done. But the question is, can you afford to get it fixed? Can you afford to get it fixed? For somebody, let's say somebody who wants something like this, who wants to use it for daily usage, do you really want to spend more out of your pocket? That is a question. Now I know some of you Mac haters are gonna come. Some of you Apple people, Apple fan, who's gonna be like, "Oh, you're hating a Mac. You hate Apple. How dare you?" Number one, watch the video very carefully before you start making any comments about I hate Apple stuff. I'm not like an Apple fan. I'm not a big Apple fanatic or a window fanatic to begin with. I see this as a tool to use to get some work done. Not like, oh, Apple. I'm not one of those. I don't worship these things. I like their product. Their products are the best. And I'm pretty sure there are good PC products out there too, equivalent to this. But the truth of the matter is, I'm showing the facts. Facts are facts. What you don't understand is working on one of these. It's a labor. It's labor. It's a bit of labor. All you have to do, you may have to take some stuff out. And think what a nightmare it is for some technicians that were working on these. Think about that. And I bet you, even though you have no knowledge of the Mac, you go in there and you mess with some things. I promise you, if the technicians charge you more on that, good. Because if you don't pay attention to what you're doing and you screw it up, not only that, you blew the money on yourself because you should have just asked a technician or somebody to help guide you to this. Now, I understand this too. Some technicians out there, they don't know what the crap they're doing, and they just just try to rip money out of you. I understand that too. It's very hard to find a honest computer technician that works on something like these. And I mean, and you can do it yourself, but you need to know what you're doing. If you're not sure about what you're doing, you can ask somebody who do know how to do it, who can help guide you, or you can start watching video on YouTube. That's the good thing about YouTube. They have all videos out there, and they're making money. But they have, and you can make money off there too. But they have YouTube with a lot of information on how to work on one of these. Trust me, I use YouTube myself. This is how I learned to fix these things. I don't just do it on my own and try to figure it out with my head all the time. If I'm not sure about something, I go on YouTube and watch. I watch and I follow. And then it would automatically clicks to me. And I'm like, okay, so this is what I got to do the next time I see something like this. But the fact of the matter is, Apple is never cheap. It's never going to be cheap to begin with. Unless sometime in the future life, they will try to drop a lot of prices down, which they will do on their product. It depends on the depreciation value of it. But here's the reality. If you love one of these, if you really do, and I like these, I like this, believe it or not, I really do. They are great. And I'm not being a hater, in case if some of you think like that. If you really love one of these, learn to handle these with care. Do not drop them. Do not spill your drinks all over it, because these are not easy to fix. Now, maybe the older ones may be a little easier to fix, but not this. And, you know, just use it like you normally use it. Don't go like, and then break the whole thing. Because another thing you gotta understand, parts for, well, maybe this, but like the one on the 2009 MacBook I actually had. And if you're not sure about the 2009 MacBook, it's right in the link. The link is in the description below. But the 2009 model MacBooks, or this one, these parts are very, very hard to find. Believe it or not, they are hard to find. Remember, Apple may have support, but they discontinued making these. And parts for these are not very cheap, are not very easy to find, and I'm gonna have to say these parts are not all the parts for this is gonna be cheap to get. So my advice is, take good care of these. Handle it with care. And compute better. Compute with confidence. So I hope this video helps you, and I'm done with all my ranting and my raving and expressing my own opinion. That's just my opinion. If some of you don't like what I'm saying, stop the video and just go on with your life. You don't have to watch it. I'm not forcing you to watch it. No one's forcing you to watch it. I'm hoping this video would help some people out, or be a good help for somebody, some people who wants one like this. So if you have any questions, please leave it on the comment below. And also, if you like my channel, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss a video. I will try to do my absolute best to put some videos out. I can't make guarantees. I'm not perfect at it. Again, I'm not perfect. I'm just a human being just like you guys. I'm learning to do things just like you guys. I'm willing to learn. And I'm not a show-off type of person. Some people might say, oh, I'm a show-off and all that, but I'm not really. And to any Mac lovers out there that says, how dare you talk about the price and stuff like that, or you can't afford that, do me a favor. If you want to talk bad stuff about me about that, stop the video, go to the corner, sit down and be quiet. I'm not being a total douche or anything, but I get sick and tired of that. This is just a computer. It's a computer. You think I'm going to be worshiping and kissing all over the computer? I work on them. But come on. This was not easy for me to get. I got lucky to get it out of an auction. And believe me, I suck at bidding these things. And these are not very cheap to get. These are expensive to get. But this is not too expensive. It used to be expensive, but it's not too expensive. So that's all I have to say. So please feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe, and never miss another video. Thank you.